This is BP Cox with the Bulldog Insiders with my main man, Chip Hester, head coach Chip Hester, in his lavish office and at the football facility, athletic training facility. Coach, summertime. Tell me what the Bulldogs have got going on, getting ready for a fall camp and leading up to the opening.
So here we are, basically a little over 2 weeks away, and we're finishing up our training camp, our August training camp, and actually this afternoon after lunch we've got our last scrimmage. Got officials coming in, and so it's our last full speed actually playing football, and then it'll be from here. We'll give them off Sunday, which will be the first day off in a while, and then we'll be in our regular kind of prep week kind of routine, try to get that going, and obviously we'll have 2 weeks to prepare for specifically Newberry. But our guys have been working hard, and I've been pleased. I think we picked up where we left off, and hopefully we'll build on it.
Obviously, of course, we're still dealing with COVID. We're still dealing with contact tracing, mask, everything like that. Of course, you've got certain things with, vaccinations. We're not going to get into the depths of that. Compared to last season, where everything kind of got cut off and then restarted, how is your off season compared to from 2020 going in compared to now what you've seen this summer?
Yeah, BP, I wish you and I were talking without masks right now.
Yeah.
I had hoped that we had seen the end of masks and the end of COVID, but we're still trying to be as careful as we can. We've got protocols in place, and having said that, we don't have a bunch of time to get ready. So, we reported on August 10th, and we've got a game on September 4th. So we've just had to, from last year, we had the whole fall, and then we had a bunch of time before the first game in the spring. So our preparation has the pace of it has picked up. We're trying to put in more quickly, and trying to get to situations a little quicker. And the good thing is, that because we played last spring, you don't have to start quite from scratch.
Right.
And I think our guys have retained a lot, as obviously the guys that have returned, and we've got a bunch of guys returning. And so I mentioned it earlier, I think we've been able to build on what we started last year. And so although we are far from an experienced football team, we're a little more experienced, and so I think they kind of have a little bit more knowledge of what it's going to look like when they play on September 4th.
Okay. How has so the players obviously are off during the summer and whatnot. Can you tell a difference between all their self-managing type of off-season workouts compared from last summer as the players reported compared to this summer, how they reported in?
So I think our guys are in a good place. Last summer was so strange.
Yeah,
the summer before that
obviously
was completely strange because we weren't even playing.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that our guys, when they reported on August 10th, I think we look more like a mature college football team. So we've got some offensive linemen that their shoulders are growing, and they've slimmed up, but their weight has stayed the same or gone up. So I'm really pleased with that. I think I think our guys are just physically maturing, and I think they worked hard this summer. I can tell. We have a little run test at the beginning, and we did really well, and so that's enabled us to start working on the X's and O's instead of worrying about their conditioning all the time. So our guys work hard. I think they're creating a culture where they know this is what we do, and we're responsible for things
right
when they're not here. And I think that's going to be big moving forward. And I think hopefully it'll pay dividends this year. But I think going forward in the future, 2 years and 3 years out, I think it'll really pay dividends for us.
Right. And of course, obviously, we saw a limited season in the spring, and of course, a good takeaway with that is players got more reps as they went along, and even into the so-called scrimmage against Lewisburg, there were a lot of positives, but also you saw a lot that needed to be worked on.
Absolutely.
I know that was a good building block for that, and that leads into your fall camps and whatnot. From what you saw at the last game compared to now, is that transition still in effect in terms of what they left on the field, knowing that there was more work to do? And I know this is kind of a very vague question, but just the transition from the last day on campus to now, and you kind of just more or less answered it, but do you see that transition still in effect of?
Yeah, I sure do. We've kind of talked about having a sense of urgency, and I think having gone through the 5 games, or 4 plus the Lewisburg game, which we treated as a game, I think our guys understand the level of competition that they're playing.
Yeah.
And I think that might be the most valuable piece of information.
Yeah.
Because the year before we had scrimmaged against each other, but
Right.
you haven't seen what a 4th-year senior looks like, or a 3rd-year junior looks like, and
Right.
the speed of the game, and all those different things. So I think that has probably solidified in their heads how hard they needed to work this summer.
Right.
And I think that's been pretty valuable to us, and I think we've been able to kind of pick up where we left off instead of having to go back and start from a day one install. Offensively, we put in basically our whole offense in 4 days. Now, some of those true freshmen that just came here, their heads are swimming still a little bit, but that's part of it. But we wanted to see how our guys responded to that, and did they remember, and could they handle it, and they have. And so that's hopefully put us in a better position to build on what we did last year. And I think as a coaching staff, we were able to evaluate what are we good at, what are we not so good at, what do we need to focus on, and we just the talent of each of our guys as we saw it against really good competition. What could we take advantage of? What do we need to lessen what we're doing, and what do we need to concentrate on? And I think hopefully we've grown from it as coaches and as players, and I'm excited to see how we respond. I know we played Newberry, which is a huge test right out of the gate, and obviously we played them close last year, and so we're gonna have their full attention when they come in, and they'll try to make a statement, and so it's going to be a real challenge for us to see how can we take another step forward and really compete against them and again and try to find a way to win that ball game somehow.
Right. And you made the connection there that I was trying to explain and didn't do a good job of. But and so now we're here in camp and 2 weeks out. Have you got a depth chart set? Have you got your 2 deep set? Do you know who's more or less going to be getting your first team reps and stuff like that?
We do, and it's kind of like NFL preseason. You get now in the NFL you get 3 preseason games. Well, this year we're only getting 2 scrimmages.
Right.
And that's kind of like the NFL's last one. So there are some guys like Jordan Terrell, probably not going to get a touch today.
Right.
We know what he can do.
Yeah.
And things like that. And so there are some guys that. We've got some guys up front we know are going to be our starters. Now, they need to get work and things like that, but this scrimmage, besides getting work for those guys that need it, is about evaluating some of those guys that haven't got as many reps,
right.
And so we're trying to see different combinations and maybe put some guys in some different situations and see how they'll respond. And then the other thing is it's a chance for our defense to tackle. And Every place I've ever been, we have discussions on how much do you tackle in camp and things like that, and so we're trying to kind of toe that line or find that balance of, practicing tackling without getting yourself beat up too much. And
right.
so this will be a big chance for our guys to try to tackle, and our running backs and wideouts to go against a full speed defense, and they can get a more realistic look about where they stand.
Yeah. So, and following up with that, of course, every reporter is always going to ask who's your starting quarterback. And I know that, you don't want to you don't want to show too many cards for Newberry or whatnot. Of course, last year we saw Mr. Flippin and Mr. Terrell there, not Terrell, Lynch, going kind of hand in hand with each other. I know you're very complimentary about both last year. Of course, both offers a little bit different of a package you can work with them. Do you have any? Either is in the lead, or is it is it one of those things where like this is certain, this is player X's team, this is such and such, or it's a collective. We're going to put the best player on the team on the field. And
well, Lynch is our starting quarterback.
Okay.
But we feel like we've got a couple guys that we can win with,
right,
and play with and things like that. And I think both guys do bring something to the table. But I don't think it'd be a surprise to Newberry to when they get that too deep in a week or so, and they see number 0 is number 1 on the depth chart. I think, as I've talked to the coaches down there, they're pretty impressed with Lynch and think he's got a lot of potential, as the other teams that we played against did as well. And that's not to say anything bad about Flippin, because we feel, and I think he's going to play some football for us this fall. But we feel like we've got our guy with Lynch, and then we can, if we need a change up, or if we have some opportunities, we'll still play Flippin, and Flippin. He's got a wide kind of bag of tricks, so he can
not just punting.
Right? He punts, he holds, and so and BP, you know me, I like to do some creative stuff. So
I wouldn't get that impression on the first play last year. Erskine. We'll ask Erskine about that. And
so stay tuned. We feel like that's a coach's job, is to try to fit guys in the right places. We all want to be on the bus, but we want to be in the right seats. And I feel like we've come a long ways. We've still got a long ways to go, but we feel like that Lynch brings something to the table that's pretty unique, and so we'll go from there.
And for the listeners, I'm in Coach Hester's office, and there's a giant picture of Tyler Flippin on the effort play. I'm sure that's the same play against Erskine, where he wouldn't give up. He's landed on the player, the defender, and then he rolled up one more time into the end zone. So I was there. I saw that play firsthand, and of course, then also we saw how Jaquan played specifically at
Lenore
Ryan.
Yeah.
He looks so in command of that huddle, and every time that they had a blitz going or whatnot, he just sidestep, or he'd move. His pocket awareness was very evident with that. So I think either way we go, you're going to see some good leadership out of that position.
And I can tell you this too, BP, is Tyler is one of on our leadership council. Voted by the players. And so he is definitely a leader of our football team. And then you've got Jaquan Lynch, and I don't know if I've told you before, but we had some folks up in the dorms, and I was saying, well, what do you guys do? And he said, Lynch leads a Bible study. He's that good a kid, and so guys look to him as a leader, and he's a young guy. Obviously, this is just his second year in college. Will be a redshirt freshman. But he's got that little bonus of that experience last year, and we hope that he'll build on that. And we know it's not going to always be perfect, and no one's perfect, but we sure feel like he brings a dynamic element to our offense.
Right. Has anybody else stood out in campus from a more experience, somebody who played last year or this spring? Has anybody else jumped off at you?
So, and this is not the the flashy, but our offensive line has been so solid.
Yeah.
We've had those guys have started to get some reps together, and so they've been so solid. Xavier McCrary is kind of that sixth guy. He played a little tight end for us, and he's done a really nice job this preseason camp, and some other guys up there. And then I think the depth of our running back position.
Yeah.
So Malcolm is 100% and has looked good, and we've got some young guys as well. Laquan Brown has done some good things, and we've got a couple guys, incoming freshmen and a transfer that we feel like could help us as well. So we're pretty deep at that position, and then we've got some depth at wideout as well. So
I was expecting the wideouts to be a real key because those guys really. They made spectacular plays last year. There was a bunch of one-handed catches, circus catches and stuff.
Yep.
They mossed people up and everything, and that was exciting to see. And I'm sure a few players on other teams were like, "Whoa, yeah." So I definitely love the wideout depth here, especially.
No question. And I think the thing that I want to see this year is that consistency.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, a group of guys that have really worked hard, and I feel really good about him. Cameron Johnson, we call him Jay Johnson, but man, he's had a good preseason. He worked extremely hard, and I think he is a guy that might have a really a good season for us as well. But we've got a bunch of guys. We've got some speed guys. We've got some size guys. Nate Byers, that bigger body, and we're going to try to move some guys around a little bit and be a little more versatile, and I think that'll help us as well offensively.
Now, incoming true freshman, who has stood out to you? Of course, we know that they might be a little bit more limited, and like you said, their heads are probably swimming a little bit more and stuff because there's a big difference, even from high school to a D2 level program. Even with Barton just starting out, now you've been here for three plus years, and you've got your program set, but I know it's going to be a lot different pace for those guys, and so.
Right. So we've got a couple guys. I mentioned a couple newcomers at running back, and then I think two more wideouts. There's a young man from Greensboro Grimsley. His name is Christian Tutu. Made a nice play in the last scrimmage, so I'm anxious to see if he'll back that up and have another big play. And then a young man from Northern Nash, Jaden Freeman, has done some good things in camp. But we've had several guys do that. And I we're talking about freshmen, but let me bump back and say Jack White, who played for us last year. We've got him kind of in an H back plus tight end role, and I've been really pleased with how he's performed in the preseason, and catching balls. He's 260 pounds, runs pretty well, and so he's been a real factor this preseason camp, and I expect that to continue.
Yeah. Okay. And then of course, wrapping up here, we've been discussing it, the new field house, the new stadium, the final touches on the stadium. I know you said we're right now, as of today, we're about 2 weeks out from the first game. You said the Beehive is active, so
definitely.
Are you ready to are you going to be the one cutting the ribbon, letting people in, or is President Cersei going to probably be hand in hand with you on that?
I think that's a Dr. Cersei job. I think that's a Dr. Cersei job. I will have my hands full with the Newberry Wolves, the Red Wolves. So but I tell you what, our whole team, from athletic director to all the folks in the administration, it's been a team effort to try to get that done.
Yeah.
And even the CT Wilson and all the different contractors that have helped with that. It has been. I mean, it's been a monumental task, and it's getting there. We're getting to the finish line, and it's exciting. I think, last Wednesday we were scrimmaging, and they were sawing metal, and they were hammering, and So literally, it's a construction site.
Yeah.
And I said, and I thought to myself, this is, they're working off the field in the stands. We're working on the field, and it's still, we're building this thing, and it's such an exciting time to be at Barton right now because of all that. There's momentum in it, and I just can't wait to see some folks on that home side of the stands, and I hope it's just a great day, and we're obviously really anxious to get it going.
And that was going to be one question: is are you and the players really ready to feel Bulldog Nation in the stands, hear them? We had limited, maybe
no doubt
200, 300 fans allowed this past year. And one of the things that I see in my position, and I interact with a lot of fans, is when can we buy our tickets? When can we do this and stuff like that? So I'm hoping you guys are ready for what's coming, because I know Bulldog Nation is ready to get out there and bark and let it fly. So you've got the community behind you. Trust me, it's there. So
and we can feel it. I think anytime you wear your BC and it says football, someone is going to ask you about tickets or get ready. So I think our guys are excited. I think last year we talked a lot about being self-starters and playing with effort, playing with fundamentals, and playing with passion, and being there for each other. But they've never experienced a bunch of people in a stadium together as this team, and the energy that brings to our team, I think could provide a real boost for us. So I can't wait.
Okay. Of course, you know me. I'm going to ask about the one random off-the-wall question at the end.
I love it.
How's the golf game looking after this summer?
The golf game is in shambles, which I guess in one sense, I know Steve Spurrier and those great golfers are probably the exception to the rule. But if your golf game is really great, it probably means you're not spending enough time on your job. So our fans can rest assured my golf game is bad.
That sounds all right. That's the finishing touch there. So, Coach Hester, thanks for taking time and appreciate it, guys. Folks out there, make sure you keep in touch with us at the Bulldog Insiders. We'll do our best to make sure we give coverage for our Bulldogs. Bulldog Nation, get ready. September 5th, we've got Newberry here in Wilson, Wide Awake Wilson, at Truist Stadium. So make sure you're there for us if you can't, with us in person. If not, I'm sure we'll have streaming options and radio options going on, so make sure you stay tuned, Bulldog Nation. BP Cox signing off with the Bulldog Insiders. Thanks.